Hello and welcome to the Overly Animated Podcast, where we take animation seriously. We provide fan-oriented and analytic discussions on a variety of animated shows, movies, and anime, currently featuring Steven Universe, Miraculous Ladybug, New Powerpuff Girls, Star vs. the Force of Evil, and RWBY. I'm Dylan Hysen, and today I'm joined by Delaney Stovall.
Hey, y'all.
Today, Delaney and I will be having a special Saturday night edition of our weekly RWBY discussion. This week, discussing of Runaways and Stowaways.
Such a clever title.
That's fine, I guess.
A little on the nose.
That's pretty good. Actually, that's pretty good. You know, Blake's the runaway and Son's the stowaway. Do you get it? Do you get it, Delaney?
Yeah, I got it.
Okay,
I got it.
Yeah, you got it. Okay. Episode 3 of Volume 4 of RWBY, we discuss RWBY every week here on the Overly Animated Podcast. You can check us out at overlyanimated.com or search for the Overly Animated Podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play Music, or your other favorite podcatcher. Special Saturday night edition. I will warn you, I haven't had as much time to do my reading up on the theories and whatnot, so I'll be less informed. Also, there may or may not be drinking involved with this night of. I'm not fresh right now, but
Delaney's fresh.
Okay, there you go. So we'll be getting into Of Runaways and Stowaways. Spoilers for this episode, even though we already spoiled it, and of every week. And the screenshot already spoiled it, to be honest.
It's fine.
But, every week, whatever. I don't even remember what I was saying. Okay, it's a good omen for things to come. Delaney,
great.
Blake's back.
Finally! Oh my god!
Oh yeah. What's your reaction to Blake just dominating this episode?
Okay, one, thank God. Okay, this makes me feel a little bit better about the season because we actually saw Blake. Thank you. Also, the majority of the episode was Blake. Yes, thank you. Just finally, Blake. She looks fabulous. Her new outfit is stellar. She's great.
So you had Sun's reaction. You were like, well, digging the new outfit.
I mean, yeah, but I also.
So you're saying you feel Sun right now? Is that what you're saying?
No, I do not. I hate him.
Are you saying you relate to him on such a core level? Is that what you're saying?
I hate him so much. I was really hoping she'd just drown him or something. I hate him so much.
This will be the main
favorite part of the episode was Blake slapping Sun. That was quality. That's how I felt.
I agree. That was quality. Well, this will be our main discussion point this episode, is me defending Sun and you berating Sun, I feel.
Yes.
Yeah. It was obviously that was what,
the Grim was awesome, by the way. This fight was really cool, except then it grew wings and I was like, why? But.
Oh, yeah, I wasn't even following it, to be honest.
No, it was good. I think this episode, highlights of the episode. There is not a single millisecond of John, but there's no RWBY or Weiss, which is tragic. But we got Blake and Yang, so we got the girlfriends. That's okay.
Yeah.
It's pretty good. I felt so bad for Yang, so bad for Yang.
Yeah. Overall, though, what do you think?
I think this is probably the most interesting episode to date. I think this episode is better than the other two, just because they're not as boring. The fight scene was interesting. I mean, I hate Sun, but this isn't just because Blake was in the episode, but I do think this episode's a little bit more interesting. Also, with the scene with Yang, we got some, news, so that was interesting to see,
the way they incorporated the TV broadcast, yeah.
So I think this was a pretty good episode. I was a little bit more invested because Blake was in it, but I do think this is more interesting than the previous episodes.
Yes, Blake is Delaney's fave for context for new listeners.
If you're not aware.
Yeah. I think this is the best episode of the season. I actually really enjoyed this one.
It's so good.
I mean, I don't know if it's so good.
It's good.
I'm gonna be super high on it the rest. This is the only part. I don't know. Relative to what we've seen. That's the problem.
Relative to what we've seen, this episode's yes.
Yeah. No, I actually very much enjoyed watching this. I'm the resident Sun fan of the podcast for some reason. We'll get into why, but I thought he was really good. This is best Sun we've ever seen.
This is definitely him at his least annoying, but the fact that he exists irritates me. So
we'll debate. And he was great. Blake was great. I just their dynamic was really good and enjoyable, to be honest.
It was like Cat Noir and Ladybug.
Honestly, it was a better version of
it was way better.
Yeah. Neither of us ship this. The Black Sun is what this is called, but I was into it this episode. I think you can interpret this as completely platonic, the two of them.
Yes. Buddy.
Remove the fact that it's male female and this is just two friends, but I thought it was really great, that dynamic. I thought the Yang stuff was fine. They didn't completely botch that, so that's great. And
they're doing a really good job so far. Granted, we just saw this one brief So hopefully we'll be fine with this.
I mean, we'll talk about the Yang stuff. At least they didn't drag that out, which is the big consensus.
I was wondering if that was like, are they going to get her an arm? Because it's been established in the universe that there are like really good prosthetics. So I was like, is it going to happen?
Yeah. To be honest, I didn't even think of that before last week, and then someone commented with, "Oh, should just get a robot arm? Like everyone has robot arms in this world, and there's like little robots, and like so." Yeah, she got it this episode, so that's good. That's good. So we're not dragging that out. I thought all the Blake stuff was fine. It's like the fight scene I thought was really good. Actually, I've seen some
really interesting.
Yeah, I've seen some people saying it's not good, and I'll defend it here. And so I thought that was good, and I think
it's way more interesting than the fight in the first episode.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, both are similar in that. The big thing with their fight scenes is they've all been ending well. Like the really good part about this is at the end when they do all the stuff with they pick up the fight scenes. But yeah, this one I think is the best fight scene. I think that the like Blake motivation scene after that was actually really good. Like I think they nailed that. And then at the end we get some completely ominous stuff with Salem. Like great. No John, solid. tons of characters I haven't seen before. Yeah, quality episode. What are you guys going to complain about in the comments section this week? Because we're being completely positive.
Yeah,
there's nothing to complain. I already know what you're going to complain about. I complain about me being wrong about the Cinder scene. So we'll see. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about that last. Checking in on our Nightblood 2013 on Tumblr character screen times. We've got Blake at 6 minutes and 25 seconds, Sun at 7 minutes and 7 seconds,
really?
Yang at 2 minutes and 48 seconds, the captain at 2 minutes and 12 seconds,
my God.
And then everyone else, Salem, Cinder, Tai Yang, there you go, and then Ruby and Weiss not in the episode. So this is this is as good as an episode can be for me without Ruby and Weiss. I mean, those are my big connections to the show. But like I thought this was some of the best. I think this is maybe the best Blake things we've gotten since season 2.
Basically, Volume 3 with Blake was terrible, and
I remember nothing as prominent that she was in Volume 3 as this episode.
No, literally, like she wasn't. That's why I was really concerned going into this season, where we have these episodes and like. Where's Blake and Yang? Where's Blake and Yang? Because we went without Blake for literally like half the season last season. And it was like, where's Blake? And then we just like murdered her at the end of the season.
Yeah, so we kind of murdered Yang, but
We also murdered both of them.
Yeah. I think Yang I think the Yang stuff this episode was weaker, but it was still fine. Yeah.
Well, I'm kind of glad that it'll be nice to have more of an episode with Yang. And like I'm kind of glad they're going really vague with it. Like we know what's going on with her, but we're not having like atrocious dialogue.
Yeah, I have zero confidence in them handling this PTSD arc with Yang well. So this is
right
the
now
best
I'm fine
case
with
scenario.
it. Like having flashes and her doing things, that's great. Because like if they do anything more, it's going to be terrible.
Yeah. That being said, I think the Blake stuff was the strongest part of the episode.
Yes, there was some touchy dialogue in this episode, but it was.
Yeah. Well, let's start with some touchy dialogue. Let's go scene by scene. So the first scene I want to talk about this episode is I feel like this is the most quintessential RWBY scene, which is Blake in the randomly talking to the ship captain in the beginning.
Yes.
So this is the typical RWBY scene. You take some random character we haven't seen before and you have them say general dialogue to one of our main characters. In this case, it's the captain. Not many people travel by boat alone, but I found that those that do have more interesting stories. I think that's the most typical RWBY line I've ever heard in my life. Like,
right?
Like, what does that even mean? I mean, like, okay.
I mean, I don't know. There's a more typical line. I have my example of more typical like later in the episode. But it's this one.
Okay, point that out. Yeah. Yeah.
Does it happen? And I was like, oh my God.
Do I have it written down on the outline?
I feel like you probably do.
Okay, we'll see.
Wait, is there an outline?
That implied you read the outline. Yes, there is an outline. Yeah.
It didn't tell me that you posted it. Sorry.
Okay. Well, yeah, somehow I outlined this while drinking. But yeah, it's a great outline. No worry. Blake is paranoid and
is not on the outline.
We have our Zuko Iroh season. I don't remember. The fact that I can't remember the Avatar reference is a sign of my state. But then we get Zuko cutting off his top button. There's ponytail or whatever. Blake loses the ribbon.
Yep.
She's going full cat girl.
Full cat girl.
No, what? As our Blake expert, what is your thought on Blake completely ditching the ribbon? She's a fully faunus mode?
She's out as a faunus now.
She's out. Is this a metaphor, Delaney?
It could be a metaphor. I don't think it is. My thoughts on it are, at first I was like, oh god. Like, I was like, I don't know how I feel about this, because I'm like, are we going to be weird about it? But then I was really enjoying watching the scenes and then how they're animating her ears. Like, they were like, when they were like down, when Sun was like irritating her and like different things. Like, I think this is actually a good thing, and they're doing like, animation wise, it's really nice to watch, and like it adds a lot to like her expressions. So I'm okay with it right now.
Yeah. I mean, Blake as Blake without ribbon over Blake with ribbon is my rankings of that. Of the two states of Blake, I'll take Blake full cat ears without
cat ears.
Yeah, so Blake full faunus mode, hype for that. I think it makes sense in this. I think it's a good symbolic representation.
Well, it's also we're in volume 4. Like, it does make a lot of sense. And
yeah, and I do think this is an Avatar reference. I mean, Avatar reference of the week. I think honestly, Avatar is the most
on a boat.
Influential show of We're on a Boat. Also, this scene is literally just Avatar season 3 episode 1. A serpent coming, they're on a boat after that, and like really
like literally the serpent scene where when you just see like part of the serpent. I was like, this is Avatar.
Yeah, I mean, I guess Sun is like Sokka. Maybe Blake is more Sokka in this scene. Is like a universe, the Sokka line from that episode. And this is also their version of Avatar season 3. Like, it gets grittier and stuff. It's after the fall. Like, literally, this is just them doing that. So, whatever. I think I think it worked. Honestly, like, the fight scene in this episode over the fight scene in Avatar 3.
Yes, agree.
Yeah. Like, the fact that I'm saying something in RWBY is better than something in Avatar, that's a win. Like, nothing else could happen. Nothing else could happen in RWBY, and this would be good enough. Like,
yes. This would be like, good job.
Yeah, you have this at least. Okay, so let's talk about all the Yang stuff at once. Yeah. So Yang, Tai Yang's there. He brings in the arm from.
Well, she was watching the news.
Oh yeah. So we can talk about the news. Yeah, she's talking about the news. So Beacon's still in disarray. The CCTV, the towers that they're in their version of the internet. It's down. It's working inside the kingdom, but not outside. So they don't have communication with the outside world.
And they're trying to contact Atlas.
Yeah, I don't know.
Talks with Atlas. I don't know how that works.
Yeah, air traffic is banned, and they know Adam's finally attacked. So catching us up on that. This is a good narrative device. It's super simple, but I think the show executed it.
And they had Vox News.
Oh, really? Was it?
Yeah, it was Vox. Like, one of them, it was like a dude, and he had horns. It was Vox News. And I was like, nice.
Good. Nice, yeah. So that's good. Yeah, so Yang gets the robot arm from. Her dad brings it in directly from Ironwood, special made by him. Ironwood, I think they're going to use him as a device now that now that Osmond's missing. It's like Ironwood just does everything.
Ironwood, yeah.
I like this though. I think that's good that they thought of Yang.
It's it's like a good job for him.
Yeah. So here's the state of Yang. So Yang is like, no, not now, maybe later, but thanks, Dad. So, what's your thoughts on Yang's disposition at the moment? So she's kind of like. Out of it, but she's still trying to be understanding of what her dad's doing. It seems like they're purposely trying to make her still sympathetic in spite of her, her them doing the PTSD arc with her.
Right. Well, because people are going to get irritated. It's like when in Korra book, when Korra was like, Korra's being it's like, shut up.
Yeah, even though people are be stupid and they'll be like, I don't like how Yang's acting, even though it's understandable. Yeah.
So it makes a lot of sense. We're what? How many months out are we from the finale is it 8?
Yeah, 8 months, yeah. Okay.
So, she lost her arm.
In universe, we're 6 to 8, yeah. Also, we're also 8 in real time. Yeah.
So, I was in the show, it's a bit it's been a few, it's been 8 months, but she lost her arm, and that's rough stuff. And I think it makes a lot of sense that she's like, oh, okay. And also, that arm is also, a constant reminder, look, you have this, here, I got you a robot arm, thanks. Yeah, that's, a quote-unquote solution to the problem, but it's not really like there's a lot more wrapped up in it, and I think it makes a lot of sense where Yang is right now. And also, especially she's having flashes, like she's having flashbacks, and that's not good. And
so like in conclusion, people don't be stupid and hate on Yang for being
Yang's
moody. Fine. She's it's understandable. She has a flashback from dropping her glass.
Yes.
I thought this was a weird thing to have a flashback from.
Well, it makes sense. I really liked how they I think they juxtaposed Blake reacting to loud sounds with Yang reacting to loud sounds.
Okay.
So I think that makes a lot of sense. Like, especially since when they were literally part of the same attack was like what happened to both of them. So you have the children yelling, people coming up behind Blake, like that startles her, and then that loud glass shattering, like that startles Yang. So I think this makes a lot of sense. Like the juxtaposition works really well, I think. And we're pairing them, like where we've paired Ruby and Weiss, and now we're pairing Blake and Yang, which makes a lot of sense.
The ship wine pairings, is that what you're talking about?
Yes.
Your Bumblebee okay. Yeah, so that's a good call on that. Yeah, this was Bumblebee the episode, to be honest. Even though this is a big Black Sun episode, I feel like it's also a big Bumblebee episode, considering it's literally just the two of them.
Yes, Steph.
Yeah,
that's what they're like. They just need their girlfriend, and it'll be fine.
It'll be fine. So,
it's a solution.
What do you think of Blake? We'll talk about. Okay, well, I'll save that. I was going to ask, what do you think of Blake running away from Yang? But we'll talk about that in the motivation segment.
Yes.
Okay. So overall, the Yang stuff was fine. Yeah.
Yeah, I think if they keep doing it like this, it'll be fine and potentially even good. But I am concerned about weird dialogue.
Yeah, I think that it would be better if the show moved away from this recovery arc, not because it shouldn't talk about this. It's an important thing to talk about, just because I don't have any confidence that they'll handle it well.
Yeah, that's my issue. Yeah. They're not going to do it well, which is the concern.
So we should move away from it. Okay.
Yes.
Let's talk about, let's get into the good part of the episode, because Sun is here. And the Bay Sun is here, and we're fighting this giant serpent Grim. The only
reason I was almost okay with this is because I knew from the intro that Sun was going to be with Blake.
Yeah, the intro ruined it. It was supposed to be a surprise. And
I saw a boat, and I was like, it's Blake. And then they were like, this dude in a hood, and I was like, Sun.
Okay, I didn't know that he'd be the dude in the hood. You saw it coming ahead of me. Yeah, okay.
Granted, my friends had already watched it, and they were laughing at me because I was like, I swear to God, that's Sun. And they were just giggling. I was like, I hate you.
Yeah.
Because they know how much I hate Sun.
Yeah, don't get spoiled, Delaney. Come on.
I literally was loading it up. And they're
don't get spoiled. I'm going to spoil everyone by putting Sun in the screen cap for the podcast on YouTube. So I apologize. Sorry, not sorry, guys. But it was too great. I had to have Blake catching Sun as it's
important. That was a quality part of the episode.
That was very important. Yeah. So we're fighting this giant serpent Grim. Blake is fighting it, and she's awesome. The crew is helping.
I love how they're all we don't know. We've never seen a Grim this big before. And then Blake's like, "Bye."
She's like, "Okay."
Starts attacking it. It was so good.
Yeah, it was good. I don't know why we need scenes of the crew fighting it, but whatever.
Okay, it wasn't also, remember all the crew, their weird uniforms? They're let's all look cute and pretty. Okay.
What do you think of random cute girl in the crew?
I also noticed her.
Unsurprising.
Unsurprising.
Yeah.
She's just it was just weird. It's just
what's your headcanon for her?
Headcanon for her. Well, she's gay, obviously. Yeah.
She's pining over Blake.
Yes, she's like, "Oh, Blake, the pretty stranger over there."
Yeah, that's your headcanon.
Yeah, that's my headcanon.
Yeah,
because she's actually me. It's fine.
Okay, that's Delaney's self-insert character. Okay, it's canon now.
I'm that girl on the ship.
Okay, good. We have Sun shows up. Sun's to be honest, there's zero chance I'd remembered Sun's semblance. There's no way. Come on. Come on. No, but apparently Sun's semblance is Powerpuff Girls light projections.
Yes.
So if you don't watch the new Powerpuff Girls, which there's a zero crossover from this audience.
0%.
They added a new power to the Powerpuff Girls where they have kind of these sun type light projections in their own colors, and they can put them into anything. So that's kind of what Sun does, but they're clones, but that's also similar to Blake's semblance.
Yeah, it's really weird.
It's too similar, I think. I think it's supposed to be kind of they're shipped. It's kind of supposed to be they're a ship thing, so they should have similar semblances, but I don't know.
Yeah.
So also there's electricity, but I wasn't sure if that's from Sun semblance or from the Grim.
Okay, yeah, I think at first it was I was also confused
because the semblance is yellow, so it could be from him.
It could be electricity.
Yeah.
But I think
it's from the Grim, right?
I think it's from the Grim, yeah.
Yeah.
So you don't see it again, and it was just like when he was on top of the Grim.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's what it was.
Yeah. So their son's light. I think his semblance was cool. They animated that well.
Yeah, no, it was well. Also, like the teamwork, that was really cool. Like that whole sequence where like Blake is like jumping on top of his.
Yeah, we'll get to that.
That was super cool.
First, we have Blake, Princess, like we talked about, Princess catching Sun, which is the best moment of the episode, and he says, "My hero," and then she just drops him.
Yes, I was like, drop him,
and then shut up and fight. Okay, so here's a good time to talk about this. So I think this episode Sun and Blake is a typical like straight couple arc. It's like, okay, let's introduce like the cute boy for the female,
the broody
female who's
character.
who's like in that regard it's typical. But to be honest, the show's handled this well, in that they've consistently had Blake not fawn over him.
Yes, Blake hates him a little bit.
Hates him in like the tsundere type way. Yeah. It's not like she's like in love with him, but they're friends. Yes. And Blake just on the surface, like you're dropping it. It's very in character, and they nail it this episode. To be honest, like I really think that this dynamic is throughout. It's not like Blake's ever like too accepting of him. The only time is when you could argue is that when he's like, why are you following me? We'll talk about that.
Yeah.
But like she just like drops him and she slaps him. Like it's great.
It's quality. It's good.
Yeah, and it's totally deserved. Like as even as Sun's number one relative to this podcast fan, it's still deserved completely for like dropping in Sun, and then she's like, just shut up and fight. Then like we were talking about, I really love this. Yeah, she was launching off of Sun's light projections, and then she like launches off of him,
and he's like expecting her to like embrace him or something. And she's like, no.
I actually think this is like maybe the most clever part of the episode. Yes. What they do with his semblance, like this is one of the best uses of a semblance I've seen on the show.
No, honestly, this one sequence is probably one of the best like parts of any fight scene in the whole series. Like this part is awesome. Like it was really cool, and honestly, like we've combined semblances before, but like this is probably one of the best examples of it, and we don't do it very often. So this is really cool.
Yeah, I thought that was.
And I think this is going to be a thing this season because we had RWBY and what is her name? Nora? Is that her name?
Yeah.
Yeah, I just always forget her name because I don't care about her.
Okay,
but
you're not making fans right now, but yeah,
I know it's fine.
Yeah. It's so you think them using semblance as well will be a thing this season?
Yeah, I think them using them like in combination with each other.
Oh, okay, yeah.
That's
they've done this before on the show. Like they had a Bumblebee attack, literally called Bumblebee on the show.
Literally Bumblebee.
But yeah, they might be doing. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, I think they're doing it more frequently. Like they're planning on doing this more.
Yeah, we had the RWBY Nora. I don't know if that's specifically a semblance thing, but yeah, you're right. They definitely combine, and maybe I don't. I'm by far not the semblance expert,
right.
In the world, but as we know from the comment sections of previous podcasts. But yeah, so that's a good call. Maybe they'll need more tandem attacks. It's always been a strength of the show is them highlighting two character relationships by having them do tandem attacks. I think that's
it'll be cool.
That's a great
more of it.
Yeah, and it's a great use of combining the show's one of the show's primary things of these action scenes with their character development and stuff like that. It's a really good idea. So I really love that. I also love the song during this, as typical. The music is the best part of the show.
A+.
So it ramps up as it gets into the good parts. It's great. Then Sun Princess catches Blake, and she's like, ugh.
Yep.
like this is okay, they're gonna do this, but then she's like, I'll right away.
Yes.
Like it's great. I don't know. What did you think of this?
No, I mean I was annoyed.
Yeah,
because it's kind of irritating to do it both.
Yeah,
like to do both of them because it undermines the first one a little bit.
But her reaction is good.
Yeah, her reaction's great.
Yeah.
And then she's just like, no, bye.
Yeah, and then she's a no, bye. And then so the ship, I forgot that the ship was fighting the thing as well, and then it kills it because they're like pinned, and it's good.
Are the engines working? Like, whatever.
And then Sun's like up top, and then she slaps him.
That was great. That was like my favorite part of the episode.
Delaney's favorite part, yeah. So is Sun getting slapped just like the
it's a summation of all my feelings for him. It's so good. Like this has been a long time coming, and I'm so glad that he got slapped. Like it makes me feel great.
Well, yeah, we need to talk about Sun and Harlow. Let's continue though. So then we have like so that in general, I think that fight scene was really good. I've seen some
the fight scene was really good. I really liked it.
I do think it's the last minute that makes it, obviously, but I just
I don't really care about the specific action pieces and stuff, but just like how the characters interact in the scene and stuff like that. Like, also, I think this is the best
boring.
character.
Like the fight scene in the first episode is boring.
Yeah, I think until the last like 30 seconds, that scene is boring, and this one carries better.
Yeah, it's really interesting. Also, it's different because like, also we haven't really had a fight like in water before. Like, so we're fighting like the sea grim on a ship. Like, this was kind of a different scene. Like, we haven't had really anything like this before, so it was interesting to watch. Also, this grim was huge and like arguably perhaps the biggest grim. Like, we've encountered large grim, but we have to remember this is a sea monster. Like, this is a pretty big grim.
Yeah,
like, it's up there.
Bigger than the Harambe in the character trailer.
Yeah. Big. Yes, definitely bigger than the grim Harambe.
Yeah, shout out to Oh God Not Her for that. Yeah.
Yes.
So it's yeah, no, I thought this fight scene was good specifically because the characters interacted. I don't really the action, whatever. But also it's Blake, and we haven't seen Blake in a while.
Yes, thank God.
Yeah, no. Okay, so let's talk about the motivation scene. So this is, I feel like you might agree that this is the most sympathetic part of Sun this episode, in that he's like, he pins the audience interpretation of Blake's motivations in running off.
Yes.
I think that like he's a good read on what we might be thinking of Blake. Like, he's like, you're going on a 1-woman rampage against the White Fang. You thought it was your fight. Like, I think this is a completely reasonable take on Blake based on what Sun has observed. And I also think it's a take that shows that he thinks really highly of her. Like, he thinks that she's like awesome and is going to go do fight stuff on her own, and like, he expects her, and it's not like he expects it for her, but like he interprets her actions in like a super positive way. I think this is a good look for Sun.
Well, no, it's really good also because like his motivation is he wants to help.
Yeah.
This isn't some sort of a super annoying, I'm the really buff dude, I have to come save you from this. Like, he just wants to help.
Yeah.
And it's probably a little bit out of like wanting glory for himself too. So it's definitely, they're framing this in this way that's like not super irritating. Like, because this is a very typical scene, but the way they frame it is very different and not irritating.
Yeah.
Because like his motivation isn't really related to Blake. Like, and
his motivation doesn't matter too much. It's all about helping her. Yeah, I think
that's just what I really appreciate. Like, his motivation is not about like Blake needs me. It's just him wanting to help Blake. And,
yeah, that is good in that regard. Yeah, I think my favorite part of this scene is like the fact that Sun states the audience expectation and then Blake subverts it.
And Blake's like, no.
I just think that's a really good read on what the audience is.
Well, it's definitely also, and I think it's not necessarily retconning, but it's also some commentary. I think that maybe possibly being aware of how poorly they handled Blake last season, because like last season Blake was like, she was a little bit. It was like it had to be her fight, it had to be this, and this, and then it all kind of falls apart at the end of Volume 3. And here, I think this is a little bit of correction for how that was handled. And like, I mean, we understand like that's not Blake's understanding. Like, that wasn't what Blake was like. We don't think that's what Blake's doing. Blake's kind of scared, and she feels like she's brought, like she feels like what happened to Yang was her fault. And like,
yeah,
so I think they're kind of correcting a little bit of how things kind of fell apart at the end of Volume 3, like narratively a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't have a good read on what the show was saying. Right. Blake was thinking at all in Volume 3. This is the most I've gotten.
Like, I think that's part of it, because like they understood. Like, we kept seeing things, and the problem is like, especially with Blake, we never know what Blake's thinking, which is like fine, but then it's also not fine when we don't see her.
Yeah, yeah. The first step is visibility, and then show, like, she states her motivations here. She says, I'm not going near the White Fang yet. I just need to sort things out. I'm going home to Menagerie. And then Sun's like, I guess I'm coming with you because I'm here. So the two questions are, let's start with Blake's motivations. What do you think of Blake just wanting to go home and not deal with the White Fang yet? To me, this is like really hard to pin down just because we are not in Blake's head at all last season. Like, I'm just like, really okay, confusing. That makes sense.
I mean, at least how I interpret, like, she feels like what happened to Yang was her fault, and like everything with Adam is her fault, and that's how she feels about it. And she's scared, and she didn't feel strong enough, and like, also she was the outsider in the group. Like, yes, Weiss isn't from Vale, but like Blake is a Faunus, and like all this is going on, and I think it makes a lot of sense that she wants to go home. I'm a little concerned about what's going to happen when she gets home. Like, I don't really, like, we have literally no context for like what's going on at home.
Yeah.
And like what her parents are going to do and like what's going on.
Yeah.
And so I'm a little concerned about how that's going to get handled later. But right now it makes sense. I think like she wants to go home, and
Yeah.
It's kind of like it's kind of like Pidge and Voltron being like super like, I have to get my family back. Like,
yeah, but less annoying, to be honest. Yeah. I think that this is a good look for Blake's character direction because it provides some sort of vulnerability.
Well, it's adding some soft edges to her character, which again, it's not irritating that she has sharp edges. She can be sharp and all this to be the way she is, but adding this to it in combination with the fact that we're finally seeing her, and she literally was like not a person in book volume 3. This is great.
Yeah, I think this is clearly the direction to go with Blake's character. For books 1 and 2, volume 1 and 2, she's mainly just like we have to find out what's going on. Like she's like paranoid about
She's
things.
The snarky character.
She's like the action character, and I think providing some sort of vulnerability to her is the way to go. It definitely, like, in context of the show not handling female characters super great, it may be, if you look at it from that lens, it's maybe not as good, but I think this is a good direction to take Blake's character.
Well, it makes a lot of sense, like, how all our characters are now. Ruby's in charge. Ruby is going out. Like, Ruby is doing stuff.
Yeah.
We have Weiss, who she's kind of stuck at home. We have Yang, like, she's dealing with, the fact that she lost her arm, and then Blake kind of has to go find herself. These are the perfect places for our characters to go, considering where we left them at the end of Volume 3. So this is all, like, this is good. Like, we set them all off on these paths. These are good paths for them to be on. Just hopefully they're not on their own for too long.
Yeah, I agree. Let's bring them back together. To be honest, I think this is just a continuation of Blake from Volume 2.
Yeah.
Volume 3, Blake is kind of lost on me. Yeah. So I don't know what we're supposed to take from that. But yeah, so Blake, we're positive on the direction of Blake. So let's talk about the direction of Sun. So level 1, Sun is being a jerk, or Sun is not being a good person here by following Blake. That's kind of the level 1. Obviously Sun should not follow Blake without her permission.
Yes.
Right.
Obviously.
Given that he does, this is, I think, the best case scenario.
Well, he's
for
not.
Him
He's not being like, I have to like. He's not being like super like overbearing and annoying. Also, the fact that he was following her and he wasn't like, she only just found him and like he wasn't really trying to be caught. He only revealed himself because he had to help her fight.
Yeah. So I think there's 2 important things here. One is that we need to remember they're like actually friends. Like this isn't like. This is probably, other than Yang, the person Blake is closest to in the world. Like, the show kind of established this, and it's not necessarily in a romantic way. So this is just one of her closest friends. Like, so I think if you look at that, then following her is not as awful. It's still, you should tell someone.
The reason I'm irritated about it is because I know what this show is doing, and that's what's irritating.
And I think, and we'll get to that. And I think we'll talk about that. And I think number 2 is that he laid back and he's very hands off and he's not forcing anything romantic with her. And I don't think he has any expectations of anything romantic with her. I think he just is a person he's close to.
Yeah. And also, it's just kind of like Sun doesn't really have anything to do. He's bored, so he's doing this.
I guess, and the show doesn't have anything. I think Sun comes off great this episode.
No, I think he's fine. Like,
this is the time to talk about that. So you think they're going with the Black Sun route?
They are. No, that's what they're doing, and it's super irritating. I know that's what they're doing. Like,
I don't know if they're doing that.
No, I'm pretty sure that's what they're doing. It's going.
I'm more worried about them doing Lancaster than the Ruby and John.
I'm worried about both of them because this is what they've done. They've split up the girls, and they're like, oh, they're by themselves. Well, oh, we just have to stick this male character with them. Like, stop. Arguably, Sun is more tolerable than John. I still hate both of them.
Look, give me Sun 10 million times over John.
Yes, I agree with that, but I still hate Sun.
Really? You agree with that? You hate Sun, though? That means you hate John like 10 million times. I actively like Sun. So let me talk about Sun. Sun this episode is like super sympathetic, I think. First of all, he's super cute like normal. Like that's the big appeal to Sun, obviously. And like second of all, he, is kind of like genuinely a good person. I mean, he's like the best version of this cocky male.
Right, yeah.
Like this is the potential appeal to Sun. Like he's this cocky male like archetype who wants to pursue the girl that we're the main character. And I think that he's at his best when he's not overdoing it and he's like in like Speck's interest, and this is like completely the best version of all that.
I agree. Problem. Where we're going with it. We're going to see her parents. No.
Hi, parents. Here's my good faunus friend who never buttons his shirt, Sun.
Exactly. No. Like, I do not trust this show with having a female character and a male character alone for extended periods of time. I don't trust the show.
No, yeah, I agree with that. But at the same time, I do genuinely enjoy the Sun and Blake friendship. I guess I also
I would enjoy it more if I wasn't so terrified they were going to mash them together.
If this show does Black Sun, I don't care a million times as much as I would care about Lancaster.
Nope, this will not be okay.
So
Bumblebee's real for one. Like, Bumblebee
I do think they'll
basically
eventually do Bumblebee, but if they do Black Sun in the meantime, would that be as bad as if they did Lancaster?
No, it wouldn't be as bad, but that's just because Sun is slightly less terrible than Sean.
Yeah. I think this show is like an established sexual tension dynamic between Blake and Sun.
Yes,
I think with John and Ruby, it's not there. Like, I think that it's clearly been friendship, platonic with them.
I agree. But both of them are bad, and I don't want either of them to happen.
I'm not saying I'm shipping the Black Sun, but I really feel like it's a world of difference for me. But
I understand why. The problem is Blake is my favorite character, and I'm not gonna have it.
Yeah. I don't know. You got to see the appeals of the Sun here.
Sun is better than Jean, but I still don't like Sun. Like, when they introduced Sun and Neptune, it was like, okay, are you serious?
Yeah.
And then, on top of that, they keep coming back. I don't care about them. It's irritating. We take these 4 amazing female characters, and then it's like, here's a boy. Here's a boy. Here's a boy. And I'm like, stop it. Stop it.
The introduction of Sun is it was totally the here's a boy thing. And
it's so annoying.
And Neptune was much worse. It was also a here's
Neptune
a boy thing.
Awful.
Yeah.
And yes, I understand. Sun is better. Sun, he's a character.
He's more of a character than John, potentially.
Yes.
I don't know if that's... I think John's fine. If you ignore his screen time and his potential Lancaster, then I think it's fine.
I don't care about Sean at all.
Yeah, I care about Sun. I don't know if that's true.
I don't care about Sun either, but they have done nothing to make me care about
the big thing is you're missing the Sun being hot type thing. That's not a factor for you. So there's that.
No, it's not. It's 0%. That's what's irritating. I know he's supposed to be. Also, when he puts his hands behind his head, it makes me so irritated. I'm like, you are so stupid. I know what they're doing, and it's so annoying.
Yeah, I thought that was kind of cute to be honest.
No, I know why he's doing it. I know they're like, oh, look at him, and I'm like, I'm gay. I'm getting nothing out of this.
Yeah, you're getting nothing out of that.
I'm so irritated.
Yeah.
And it's not that I want all of the girls to be gay. I do want all the girls to be gay. But it's fine that they're not. But the way they're going about this is so irritating. And if we had started this show, it'd be here are some guys, here are some girls, make me care about both of them. No, we have these 4 girls that I really like, and then we introduce these characters. I'm I don't like you. I don't care about you at all. And they keep mashing them together. I'm like, stop it.
Yeah, the problem is they bring Sun in as a course correct, add a male love interest.
Also, it was also during all the tournament nonsense. The tournament is the most irritating thing in the universe.
Plus Sun was there in season 2, but it's Sun started off on a really bad foot. I hated him at first, to be honest, like you, but he's really grown on me. I think the show has handled him way better than any male character.
Well, yes, I do agree with that, but he's also too close to Blake, and that's just unacceptable.
Yeah, so. If the show continues this sometimes flirting, always never over more than that, just all platonic type thing, I think that'd be great.
And fine. That'd be fine. If Blake needs a friend right now, honestly, so this is fine.
Yeah.
But I also do not want them to turn this into just this super annoying Just no. I don't want it.
An overt romance arc would be bad. I'm pretty confident they're not doing that. If they do anything with them, it would just be 1 or 2 moments. I'm more worried about them doing a long-term John and Ruby.
Yeah, no, I really am terrified about that also.
I think that I don't think they're doing a long-term Blake and Sun romance arc. It just seems not whenever they have moments, it's very fast, and I don't know.
Well, also it's just very Blake is not interested in him. They're friends.
Yeah, mostly. I think that the show is.
I think there were earlier moments.
I think Blake is. Here's my read on this. Blake is amused by him and thinks he's kind of cute. I think that's basically it. She does smile at him at one point. She does smile at him at one point this episode. So it's mostly, I think, just that because he's a friend and she doesn't have many people close. But I do think that there's something slightly there. I mean, I think the show has been trying to present that. That's not necessarily what I'm like advocating. Like, I think the show has been trying to present that. Right. But again, I don't think it's over, and I don't think the show wants to make it over. And I'd be pretty surprised. I'd be surprised if they were like, "Here's my boyfriend" to the parents. Like, and that's not what they're doing. Okay. We're going long here. Let's talk about the Salem and Cinder. There's our chime in on the Sun discussion in the comments. Are you # Sun, I don't know, hashtag negative, hashtag anti-sun,
hashtag eclipse,
hashtag eclipse, yeah, hashtag eclipse or hashtag, whatever, pro-sun. So let's talk about Salem and Cinder. So this scene at the end with the weird Grimm and with whatever,
it's like this Grimm eyeball or something.
Yeah,
like,
okay.
It's really weird.
Audience. I'm gonna be honest. I have no idea what's going on in the scene. I believe the intent is to not have any idea what's going on in the scene. I don't think we're supposed to know. I think you guys definitely have theories. I would encourage you to comment with them. Please, be aware of the distinction between theories and facts. You commenters are notoriously awful at this, but, if you have legitimate information on what's going on here, please let me know. So I'd like to know. I haven't had time to read all the theories and stuff previous to this, but I believe most of what happens here, we are not supposed to understand what's happening. So let's establish that. Like, we
haven't seen this Grimm before, right?
Right. No, we have not. Definitely, we have not seen
I have that issue. I'm always like, have we seen a Grimm like
we've
this?
We've definitely not seen this type of Grimm before. Okay. This is like the Voltron spy thing, whatever they had.
Right.
Yeah. This is, I don't know. It tells Salem something, and then she's like,
it flashes at her.
Yeah, and she apparently understands it, and we don't.
So is she she controls the Grimm or something, right? I know they're at the castle or whatever. And
this episode gave me the best impression that she is like the Grimm master.
Yeah, she's like the creator of Grimm.
I didn't have that impression before. Like in the first episode, we see Grimm coming out of the primordial slime. Right. But until this episode,
there's a difference between I am Salem and I am the goddess of this realm where the Grimm exist.
Yeah.
Versus I am Salem, the goddess of the Grimm. So I
agree with that. Yeah, I get the impression that she maybe controlled the Grimm.
Yes, I think she creates them and controls them.
Yeah, to be honest, I'm not into that. I think that the show's been presenting Grimm as kind of an environmental topic.
It's kind of that's kind of the neat thing. Grimm come because this happens.
Yeah, and I think this kind of subverts all the messages that they've been having with Grimm. I think this is Salem's just the big bad, and she's been sending Grimm everywhere, as opposed to Grimm represents kind of the natural earth.
I'm okay with maybe they might be kind of presenting this. Okay, let's think about I was thinking about this watching the episode. Okay, Mercury and Emerald, they are they're it's a hunter and a huntress, basically. They've kind of turned sides. They joined the Grimm, right? So I'm thinking more of it's kind of they've come to control the Grimm, but she doesn't actually it's not how it's supposed to be. Because we knew everything went everything messed up Volume 3. That was the point of a lot of things that happened in Volume 3 was because, LOL, you think you can control the Grimm? No. So I think it's more of they've taken control.
Mm-hmm.
But ultimately the Grimm are the Grimm.
So she's taking control of the Grimm, which are still a natural occurrence, but she's made them more evil and anti-people.
I hope so.
I'd be fine with that. Yeah, that'd be interesting.
She might be. I mean, of course, I think it makes a lot of sense. She could maybe influence the creation of the Grimm, and also
she's ramping up their numbers and stuff.
Yeah, and everything that's going on in the world, it makes a lot of sense as to why. Everything that's going on in Revenant, it makes a lot of sense as to why the Grimm are everywhere.
Yeah, I think the problem I think is that she's being presented as kind of this immortal character.
Yeah. So and I'm a little concerned about her being I am the creator, I am the mother of the Grimm or something.
Yeah, she's the Grimm mother. Yeah. So we'll see where that's going. I'd much prefer her not to be in control, just because I think that some of the show's stronger themes have been the Grimm being kind of this natural occurrence, and they feed on negative emotions. Then they're also kind of this Miyazaki and environmental factor happening.
They did make a comment. They kind of had this kind of Dementor-esque scene with. So we have Emerald and Mercury in the corner, and then Salem is talking to Cinder, and she's don't let it. I can't remember what she said. It was something
control
it, don't make it dread you.
Yeah.
And then, of course, like, then the Grimm comes in, and, like, Emerald and Mercury are like, oh my god.
Yeah.
And, like, they're both, like, freaked out.
Yeah, so potentially they're presenting the Grimm more of as Dementors rather than the Ohm from Nausicaa. So that's more of, like, the Ohm are more of, like, a natural, here's the environment reacting against you. Everyone's seen Nausicaa, by the way. Whereas the Dementors in Harry Potter are more as, like, Voldemort's minions, right?
Yeah.
So,
that's another interesting point, that here, like, the Dementors just exist, and Voldemort controls them.
So yeah, maybe it's more of that thing, yeah.
Yeah, it's more, I think that's honestly what I think it is. Like, the Dementors are just creatures that exist in the world,
and Voldemort took advantage
he
of
takes
them.
He takes control of them.
Yeah.
But he didn't create them. Like, he doesn't really have, and you can't really control Dementors. Like, that's another thing that's established in that universe, is that you can't control Dementors. They just do what they want.
Yeah.
They only have one thing. Like, when they have a target, they go for it.
Yeah. Is this a Harry Potter RWBY minicast? Is that what this is right now?
It could be. I mean, I could probably make an outline.
Yeah, you could make an outline. But yeah, I agree. That's I guess the best case with Sam was what they're.
Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense, and I'm okay with that if the Grimm are like, they are naturally occurring without Salem's influence, but Salem has now taken control of them.
Yeah. So in the beginning, Salem's Descenders like make it dread you.
Yes.
The speculation I have seen, it is not clear whether this is talking about the Grimm that is I think the episode portrays it as like this Grimm that comes in later, but I think it's supposed to be Cinder talking to like the thing that's infected half her body.
Right. Yeah, whatever it is that's not letting her speak.
Yes, I think that it's supposed to, whatever you want to call that, her poison or her, like, the thing that is on her arm and, like, half her face.
It's kind of similar to what was going on with Cora in book 4.
Yes, very similar. Like, the metal that's inside Cora in book 4. I think that's what's supposed to, I think the Grimm that comes later is unrelated. I think they did that too fast, because it makes it seem like the Grimm.
Yeah, it's a little confusing. I mean, granted, it does kind of flow, too, because, like, I mean, and also Mercury and Emerald's reactions to the Grimm are also like, you're not really sure what's going on. Yeah. Also, we don't know what's going on with Salem and Cinder. Like, we barely understand who Salem is.
Yeah.
And they're having vague conversations.
The show is often too ambiguous with its mythology. This is a frequent complaint about the show. Like,
because my thing is, like, okay, like, we understand we have this world of Remnant. We understand there are people and they look like people. And then we have the Faunus and they're people too. And they also have, like, little animal features. That's fine. We understand that. I get that. I see someone, I'm like, they're a Faunus, they're a person. Got it. But then we have Salem, who doesn't look like a person. Like, she looks vaguely like a person, but she's clearly something other. And it's like, we kind of need to explain this.
Yeah. Not clear what's going. This is intended to be ambiguous, and it's supposed to be ominous.
It's like this, like, visually, like, obviously, I'm like, she's not good. Like, there's something going on with her. Like, she is evil and stuff. But, like, we need to explain this because, like, Cinder is something other, too. Now, she's a maiden, but she still looks like a person. Yeah. So, like, we just need to, like, I need to understand. Like, I understand what Grimm are, but she doesn't look like a person or Grimm. Like, what am I supposed to figure? Like, who is she? We don't know.
Clearly, the show is attempting to be ambiguous. I think that that's fine at this point. I think that you need to pay it off at the end of the season. The show generally has not explained things at the end of the season, though. So that's
well, generally speaking, we get to the end of the season. It's like, here's all this new information that makes no sense.
Yeah, they just add more mythology. Instead of explaining mythology they have. So this scene is fine in the context of this episode. Again, I'm very high on this episode, but we need to eventually explain what this Grimm is. So this ball with strings is what I described it.
It's like a dark tentacle.
It's like It's like a ball thing communicating with like Salem, and Salem is like, okay, I need to ask you, did you kill Ozpin? And then Cinder says yes. And then Salem says, reinforce our numbers at Beacon. The relic is there. What are you planning?
And then, my friend made this really good point, because I also thought this, but it wasn't until my friend verbalized it I was like, okay, this wasn't just me. The way she says that line, what are you planning? Pause. Ozpin? Like,
Yeah, I think the initial interpretation is she's, what are you planning, Ozpin? So she doesn't, I think my first interpretation, what are you planning, Ozpin? She does not believe Cinder. Do you think that's true?
Well, I think it might be like, she knows something we don't know about Ozpin, clearly. Like, I think that's established. Salem has a long history with Ozpin, and she knows things we don't. Yeah. I think the general theory at the moment is that Ozpin is the old man from the story of the maiden.
And Salem's one of the maidens,
And if Ozpin is, immortal or whatever, And if he's not, or if he's dead right now, he reincarnates or whatever, then she knows. Granted, it also what are you planning? Like, Ozpin could have had, like, a failsafe. Or, he could have been like, I'm going to die, so I have this in place, so whatever happens. So both of those are possible, but I think it's more likely that Ozpin isn't really dead. And I don't think she's going to hold this against Cinder, because I think she's like, yes, Cinder fully believes that she killed Ozpin, but I know something Cinder doesn't know.
Okay, so interesting. So, first of all, is Ozpin dead or not? I think Ozpin's clearly alive.
I mean, like,
in actuality,
he's not dead.
For the state of the show, like, Ozpin's going to be alive, so the show can
right. Like, Ozpin's going to be
okay. That's number one. So you said number two, Cinder does believe she killed Ozpin.
Yes.
So you don't think that Salem is like listening to Cinder and is interpreting her as lying, because it seems like Salem wouldn't put up with that.
No, like, Salem would just incinerate her or whatever right there. So I feel like it's more of like, also, would she be really going through all this trouble? And she says yes, and then like she's not like that. She would know. Like, she already before Cinder said yes was like, you don't.
I guess so, but why does she keep asking her? I don't know.
That's my thing. Like, I feel like
she's like building trust or something. Yeah.
Well, I think it's also like she's also trying to like help Cinder like recover. So, because she needs Cinder for whatever reason. Yeah,
maybe she does.
That's another thing. She might be like, Cinder's lying. Salem's not going to kill her, though, because she's a maiden. They need her power.
Yeah, that's true. She does need her. So maybe it's more of just she needs her power. And number three is like, what does Salem believe? It does. The what are you planning makes me think that Salem believes Ozpin's alive.
Yeah, I think Salem knows things that the rest of us don't. And I don't think she's going to hold it against Cinder.
Yeah. Yeah. She does seem to be being nice to Cinder.
Yeah, like, she's like, I mean, she keeps protecting her from, like, the rude
Yeah,
people.
I'd like to know
why she cares about Cinder.
I don't know if it's kind of like this weird maternal thing, or if it's just like...
Are you shipping the Salem and Cinder?
I mean, it's weird. I mean, maybe.
Have you thought about that before I just asked
No,
that?
I haven't thought about it.
So I think that's your new ship. I think that's...
Is it?
Think about
Cinder. I'll come up with a ship name.
Cinder...
Well, no, that's not how ship names in this show work.
Yeah, no, it's not how it works. So it's like,
it'd be like Blackfire or something.
Blackfire, lol. Yeah, something like that. Well,
that is a name in the DC universe.
This might be a thing that's already in the fandom. Tell us what the Cinder and Salem ship name is.
Blackfire. Please tell me. Right.
Yeah, and so those are our predictions. That let us know whether you think, like, the three questions are: is Ozpin alive? Does Cinder think Ozpin alive? Does Salem think Ozpin alive? Those are three questions. And then, what's the relic?
Yeah.
This is the only thing I'm not confident in being a thing already. That this might exist already, and like I just don't understand. My initial thought is like the relic has to do with the Fall Maiden stuff that they're doing in the basement of
I'm thinking back to like season volume 1, and I can't.
It's like that. It's like that transfer machine between. Or that wasn't a relic though. That was created by Ironwood. So I think that's true. And
what is the relic?
So something to do with the maidens. I think is the relic. That'd be my prediction.
Like, I find it really hard. I really find it hard to believe that it's something we already know.
I'm not enthused by the idea of a relic adding an additional plot element.
Right? Like, oh, look, okay, we have the maidens, now we have this thing.
Let's explain the maidens first before we add a relic in. Yeah,
like we're literally we're playing like this weird game where it's like, let's create a mythological story. Okay, we have these like mythological, basically goddesses. Okay, check.
Yeah.
Oh. We have, like, these dark creatures. Check.
Yeah.
Oh, let's add this little thing. Yeah. Like, no, stop. Like, this is too much.
They should explain things before they add things.
Yeah. Or if you're going to do something like this, like, these aren't this is why we have the prophecy trope. Because then you introduce all of it at once, and you're like, oh, okay, we have all this weird, cool stuff that rhymes, and we understand that we have, like, these 5 things. Got it. Check.
Yeah, agreed.
And then it's annoying, but it's like, okay, at least I don't have to deal with this like 3 seasons later, and I'm like, what is this?
Yeah. Let's explain some of the mythology, but that's not the state we're in. Hopefully the end of the season fulfills on that. Clearly they're not going to do that in the season. Yeah. So overall, what do you think of the Salem and Cinder scene?
I thought it was really good. I was shocked Cinder actually spoke. I didn't think that was going to happen this soon.
Yeah.
So I'm surprised. I thought it was good.
Cinder sympathy check.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, interesting. Yeah, I think I'm also sympathetic on Cinder, and so are the most of the commenters. I would say, let's remember, Cinder literally killed Pyrrha.
Literally killed Pyrrha. Cinder's like power hungry and crazy, and that's fine.
Cinder killed one of our most sympathetic characters.
It's horrible because
explicitly on screen. So let's
and then
let's
we
not
watch
forget
her
that.
The way they are animating her. I just want to hold her. And I'm like, she's evil. She would rip my throat out.
Cinder's an interesting version of the Korra recovery arc.
Yeah,
because
she's
it's from an evil. It's because it's from the evil.
It's like Kuvira recovery arc.
Yeah, that would be
honestly, Kuvira and Cinder are pretty similar, except Cinder's way more crazy than Kuvira.
I think Kuvira and Cinder are both sympathetic, clear villains. Yeah. Yes. So that's interesting. Yeah. Okay. So let's take some asks as we wrap things up here. Here's from Andy. Patron Andy says, seeing Blake and Yang have substantial scenes with them was surprising. I hope this means they've learned something from last season. I'm glad they introduced the robot arm at the beginning of Yang's arc instead of the end. Having it already exist emphasizes her inner struggle and avoids a Deus Ex Machina, Deus Ex Ironwood at the end of her arc. Yeah. I am worried that her arc seems so much like Korra alone. I don't know, Fate, that they can pull something off like the show PTSD correctly. We agree on that.
Yep.
Yeah. And I am surprised that this whole episode was Blake and Yang. I expected it to be half Ranger, half Blake. So
the fact that it's Blake just blew me away.
Yeah. Excellent stuff. We took the Screen Times arc. So overall, Delaney, we're positive on this episode.
Yes. I thought it's probably it's the best episode of the season so far.
Yeah.
And it's pretty good. And I'm I'm a little less concerned about where we're going in the show, but I'm still concerned.
Yeah. So I have heard rumblings of some sort of not new episode next week because Rooster Teeth has some sort of charity event and they tend not to do new releases when they have some sort of event. Potentially 2 or 3 weeks until the next episode, although that is not confirmed. I have not seen that confirmed. Okay. But next episode, any predictions for what we'll see?
Oh, well, I mean, I feel like we're going to check back in on Ranger. And John's probably going to get on my nerves.
Definitely going to see Ranger next episode. Who will be our... will we see Weiss, Blake, or Yang next episode?
I feel like we're going to see Weiss. I feel like they're going to do this kind of pairing thing. I doubt we'll mix it up. I don't know I don't think we'll see Weiss. I think it'll just be a Ranger episode. I think we're going to have some stuff happen. Team Ranger, for all them fighting Grimm, they haven't fought that much Grimm, and they're not really doing anything. So I feel it's literally the first half of Deathly Hallows.
Ranger,
big camping trip. They're not really doing anything.
Are we going to get a John and Ruby dancing scene that was not in the original books? Is that what?
No.
So I think that they need to. There's an airship in the next town, so they need to get to the next town.
Yeah, they need to get there. There needs to be a fight or something. Grim Harambe. I don't care. Something can happen.
Dropping the Harambe references. Yeah, I think to fight something. Yeah, get to the airship, get to Mistral or whatever where we're going. Yeah, and I my prediction. I think the most likely character for check in next episode is Yang because we've seen the least of her.
I do agree with that, but I also don't know.
Yeah, it could be any of them. To be honest,
I think also this is gonna be my my prediction for the rest of the season. I'm gonna make it right now.
Okay.
So the group is going to meet back together in Mistral. So we have our characters right now are they're spread all over. So Ruby's trying to get to Mistral. I don't know if they'll actually get there, but I think they probably will.
They'll get there, yeah.
So I think they're going to get to Mistral. And then, so we know Blake is going to Menagerie. So she's going to, come back to Mistral. That's a different place, right? What is Menagerie? It's not, is it a continent?
Okay, I'm looking this up now because I forgot about that.
So I know there's Mistral, Vale, and Atlas.
It's a separate continent or something, yeah.
Okay, so Menagerie. So I feel like they're gonna come back and go to Mistral because there's gonna be stuff. I feel
It's south of Mistral though, so it's within range.
Okay, so we blew up Vale, so everyone's gonna we're all gonna meet back together in Mistral.
I think this is not controversial. We're gonna converge in Mistral. Yes, I agree. Yes. That's where we're going. So is there anything else to the prediction, or is this? So
that was just it. I think this is what we're doing. Everything is going to come.
I agree. Eventually we're going to meet in Mistral for sure. I think it's more of a question how Yang and Weiss get there, but clearly Blake and the RWBY gang are on their way. Yes. Yeah. Okay. So I think Yang, I guess, is my. So we're working towards this concert with Weiss. I don't even know what they're doing, to be honest. We need to do something substantial.
Weiss is really weird too. Like Weiss is in a really weird place. Like, okay, we understand why Blake is doing her thing. Like Weiss is just home.
We also have I guess next episode we could fight with Tyrion, because remember Tyrion's still going after Ruby, so that could be a thing next episode. There's a lot on the plate here. We're already 3 episodes into a 13-episode season. There's not a lot of time left. I don't have faith that a lot will get done, but
I'm feeling like I kind of feel like this season isn't really going to end.
Yeah, it could just be part 1 of a 2-part season. Whatever. I mean, it's been less than a year since last season, so it's not the worst. So we'll see what happens. Let us know your predictions for next episode. It could be multiple weeks from now. If there's not a new episode next week, we'll not have a RWBY podcast, but we'll see. Whatever happens with that, let us know comments on any of what we've discussed about. Are you pro, sun, or eclipse? Hashtag in the YouTube comments, Tumblr comments, or comments on our website, overlyanimated.com. Subscribe to us there. Special request, give us 5-star reviews on our RWBY specific iTunes feed you can check out overlyanimated.com, click on RWBY on like the right side, because we're a consensus 1-star review on our RWBY specific iTunes feed. I'm glad people are leaving the no reviews there and not in our main feed, but we could boost up our RWBY iTunes feed review.
Like y'all listen and y'all like it.
So give us a iTunes review there, because the haters have given us there have now been 5 haters, which means that the 1-star shows up on the iTunes. So
please give us
good
reviews.
Yes, and you could
we know you're out there.
And also on the main feed is the general would also be helpful too. So anyway, consider supporting us on patreon.com/overlyanimated. Thank you very much to our patrons: Mitch Cordell, Beatrice, Nate, Andy, Jamie, Rachel, John, Ryan, Catherine, Taylor, Devon, Jade, John, Finish, and Victoria, and Katrin, aka Fever, Mitch Corner, Steve, Exchange, and William, Buzz Like Your Man, Richard, Brian, Cook, Cat, Needle, Diamond Day, Joel, Garfield, Fusion, Skylark, Patron, Katrin. Just sent out all the patron stuff for this month. A lot of patron awards. I can dictate future podcast topics and stuff. Patreon.com/overlyanimated. Upcoming podcast. Star is back this week. Reminder to Delaney. Star on Monday. Yes,
I didn't forget.
Okay, and SU Roundtable by Justin this week, and then the week after that, SU is back new. So
Gem
we'll be covering that. Yeah, Gem Harvest, and then also another new Student Universe episode like 2 weeks after that. Yeah, on the schedule. We'll see if they follow through, but it's on the schedule. And new RWBY whenever it comes up. Last comments, Delaney.
Blake is back.
Yeah. Blake is back. God. That's true. Yeah, thank God. Let us know. Do you agree with us that it's the best episode of the season? Yes, that's the other comments thing. Thank you guys very much for listening, and we will see you next time. Bye.
Bye.